welcome to a 16 Coffee Chat. Today we have Leah with us here at Pure Greens, and she is one of the content writers. Today we'll be talking about pesticides. She recently wrote a long article about pesticides and herbicides. So welcome on, Leah.
Hi, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So let's start talking about what pesticides are. Can you explain that for us, Leah?
Yeah, pesticides are any substance that's used to kill any pest that poses a danger to crops. So that includes insects, weeds, fungi, rodents, pretty much anything.
Okay. And why do farmers tend to use pesticides?
So all of those things that I listed, the insects, the rodents, weeds, those are all very common problems in agriculture. And they can pose some serious problems for farmers. So they use pesticides in order to prevent those problems from occurring and kill any insects or rodents that might be eating their crops or spreading diseases through their crops.
Okay, so people know that kind of pesticides are harmful, so is that accurate?
Yeah, pesticides have a lot of dangers, both for humans, health-wise, and then also they're really dangerous for the environment and all of the non-harmful animals that live around farms and even far away from farms. Like some pesticides look like little grains, so birds will eat them thinking that it's food, and then the birds die, but obviously we don't want birds dying.
Right.
So yeah, they pose a lot of like sneaky problems for contaminating water or getting into our food, even though they've been traveled and picked and everything. We'll consume them, so they are really dangerous.
They're harmful for us. Yeah, that's really bad. That's obviously horrible for humans to consume all those pesticides. Is there anything we can do to avoid pesticides in our foods?
Unfortunately, most store-bought produce is going to have traces of pesticides in them. Even organic food will have traces of pesticides in them. It's usually not as much as non-organic food, but organic farmers are still allowed to use pesticides if no other options are working for them. So you'll still find pesticides in those organic foods, so it doesn't really matter what type you're going for in the grocery store, you're probably going to be eating it anyway.
So, even though that it's certified organic, the food you're buying, it could still be like in the water or in the soil.
Yeah.
The traces of pesticides.
Yeah. A lot of pesticides are also sprayed in the air, so that will get into crops in nearby farms, even if that farm particularly doesn't use pesticides, or like you said, pesticides will get into water, like rivers or storage tanks, like all sorts of different ways. And then that water is used in the agriculture, and then we're also drinking it, so it's just a double problem there.
So Leah, if people want to grow their own produce, how can they do that without having any pesticides in the food?
So if people want to grow their own produce without any pesticides, they can make their own remedies using like essential oils and water, or soap is a really common DIY solution. You can also use some strategies like planting specific crops that have insect repelling properties, and then that will help prevent insects from coming into your garden. Or you can also use that same strategy, it's called companion planting, to attract insects that'll help your plants and then also prey on the harmful ones. As far as weeds go, you can use tarps to cover the ground so that seeds can't germinate, or you can plant crops that grow across the ground for the same reason. It blocks out the sunlight so that the weed seeds that are in the ground can't bloom and grow. You can also grow indoors. Growing indoors, especially if you have a controlled environment, will help you a lot because you won't have like the wind bringing in seeds that are from weeds, or you won't have insects being able to just like come from wherever and invade your farm.
Right. So that's really interesting, guys, that you have all these natural components and ingredients that you can use, and that there's actually good bugs that you can use in order to kill the bad bugs.
Definitely.
So destroying your crops. Wow, there was a lot of information that we got here about pesticides. Here at Pure Greens, we are not using any pesticides or herbicides in our farms. Our farms are fully insulated, hydroponic container farms, so you're growing everything in an indoor contained environment. And that way you don't have any birds, like Leah just mentioned, come and try to destroy your crops or any other animals. And that's one of the benefits of growing indoors. If you want to learn more about pesticides and herbicides, we do have a full article that you can find in this link. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video.